Oh, okay, I am recording.
Okay. Hi, I'm Colleen. I'm going to teach you today how to make a pinch pot. Pinch pots are a very basic form of clay vessels, and we're going to make a little cup or a little bowl out of clay. And so the first thing you need to know is we're going to make it out of a ball of clay. These have been fired. This is a little ball of clay that I was starting to pinch. And pinch pot, this is a tiny pinch pot, and you do that by sticking your finger in and pinching. You can then make any shape you want. They don't need to be round. I started to pinch little extrusions onto here at some point, and the next step I did was I made those little extrusions into some limbs. So I made a little tiny turtle. Anytime you make anything that has a thickness greater than 3/4 of an inch, you're going to have to make it hollow. So this is a good way to make a hollow form. So we will be glazing our pinch pots later on, so they will get some nice shininess and hardness to them. So the first thing we're going to do is to get a ball of clay. So you can just grab some out of your bag, and you're going to kind of slap it between your palms until it gets into a round shape. And you can also be squeezing a little bit on the soft parts of your hand. And once you get it round, you may have little creases like this, and you can just fix those by stroking the clay sideways across those creases and heal those up. So once you've got your nice little ball of clay, you're going to start pinching. And I'm going to have my videographer here come around, because I like to work. When I'm sitting down. I can't seem to make a pinch pot when I'm standing up. I don't know why that is. So you don't want to do it on the table, because that tends to get a little flat square corners at the bottom that are kind of thick. So you want an even thickness all the way through this, about 1/4 of an inch thickness, such as that. So here we go. The first step is to hold it in your left hand if you're right-handed, and you're going to start pinching down into the center. You're trying to find where the center of this clay is. And I'm turning it so that I don't get it all lopsided. So as I'm going farther and farther down into the clay, and turning it as I go so that I keep this clay up here at the rim area kind of even all the way around. I'm going down and down and down. And I'm pinching with I'm not doing a tough pinch, a hurtful pinch like that would hurt you. I'm using the flat parts of my fingers when I can to do that, so I don't get deep finger dents. So when I get down there, I'm going to go all the way down to where I think it's about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And when I think I'm down that far, I can check this, and you can check this anytime how thick your projects are by taking your needle tool, and you can just stab your clay. And when you see the point come through, you measure it with your fingernail and you pull that out. So I'm a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker than 1/4 of an inch, so I can thin this out just a little bit more. Don't worry about that hole. You can just heal that over by stroking it with your fingers. All right, so I'm going to make that a little thinner down there and make sure that's nice and even. And what you got at this point is like a bagel with a skin over the bottom of it. So this is thin here and thick up here. Then the next thing we're going to do is start to work our way, and I'm pinching with both hands now because I find that's more comfortable for me. And I'm going to spiral up from the bottom, pinching and pinching and pinching, and coming around and around and around, trying to keep that wall kind of even thickness and coming up higher and higher. The clay will want to become a big flat pancake. you will find this out. Some people solve this problem by stroking upwards. I think one of the videos shows that they're stroking it this way. I learned by doing this two-hand pinch thing. As I pinch, I'm also pushing my hands towards each other. When I do this, the clay has nowhere to go but up toward me. So that kind of keeps it more vertical when I do that. So I'm pinching, 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 up and up and up and up. So you don't want it to be too flat. You want it to be something that will hold some volume inside of it, like a bowl or a cup. So you don't want to also get too thin at the top. You don't want to pinch all the way up so that you have like a razor edge at the top of it. As you get up to the top, if you've been working on the clay a while, and if the air in your workspace is very dry, and as the clay warms up, you may get some little stress cracks around the rim. And I don't know if you can see, we're getting a few of those little tiny stress cracks here. If they get thicker than that, it can be a problem. This is fine to leave them that way. If they start to open up and get wider, you will want to then support the clay a little bit and stroke across to heal those up. So you can just heal those up all the way around if you're starting to get those stress cracks. A thing that most people starting with clay will want to do is to put some water on there and smear it around. This does not help. The water will temporarily fill those cracks, but it actually will make the surface very rough because you're washing away the fine particles of clay and just leaving the larger sand particles that are in the clay behind. So it'll get kind of rough and sandpapery. So try not to do that. Do that stroking thing. You can also stroke those cracks closed by stroking it with a tool like a plastic rib or a wooden rib. If you've got little cracks on the outside, you can do the same thing. You would support it from the inside, and you can just stroke and heal those things up. So once you've got your little pinch pot, you're going to make sure that everything is the way you want it to be, and you're aiming for something with kind of a rounded shape, and not a, if you work on the table, you're going to get a like thick square corner down here, and that's what you don't want, a real thick corner down there. So if you want this to stand up upright, you're going to say, oh, it's going to roll around, it's not a very good cup or a bowl. If you want a little flat bottom now, you can just take it and just tap it lightly on your surface, and that will give you a little flat surface for it to sit on. You can also, once it starts to get really floppy, if you're having trouble keeping that shape, say this was a little larger and it's all flopping around, you can also let it stiffen up. So you can take a piece of plastic and sit it upside down on something that's non-absorbent so that the rim doesn't dry out too much, and let the air get to this part here, which will stiffen it up a bit. And that's basically your pinch pot. You have some things that I want you to add onto your two of your pinch pots, some decoration of a couple kinds, and a coil that you're going to add by scoring and slipping. And to add clay onto this, you will watch my other video, which is how to join clay. So that's it. Thank you very much.